All right, people live. Just going to give people a few minutes to come on in. And we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Keep a little apple here. We're going to go ahead and get it in a minute. All right, we're just going to give it a minute. Just give people a little time to get in. I'm sure with everything going on, there's probably a lot. All right, greetings, Yvette. Love my fro, serpent-headed mask. All right. Just going to wait a minute or two. Just give a little time for people to get in. Stay on for about an hour and a half or so. All right. All right. So let me just go through a couple quick announcements. Again, infernal blessings to all, greetings and all that good stuff. Obviously, with everything going on, there's been changes, obviously, to people's plans and disruptions and things of that nature. But we'll work through it, and it'll pass just like everything else. For those, let me just put out there, for those that are members on the Patreon page, if you were not able to attend the class the other night, the Samael Angel of Death class is in the archives in the post section. Please make sure you get a chance to check it out so you can stay kind of current with what we're doing. So that class is posted in the archive. I understand not everybody can get there, which is understandable. That's why it's archived. So our events will continue on Patreon for those that are Patreon members. We have already a segment class scheduled, which will be in a few weeks. We have the ritual of, I'm going to show people the correct way to use the invocation aspect of the Rosary of the Holy Death, Santissima Muerte. I'm going to show you different aspects, how to work that as a black magic ritual. That's for Tier 3 members. Both of those events will take place next month. There'll be some other stuff upcoming on there. There's also a class scheduled for next month for Hecate. That's open for anybody, can sign up. That is on, the information for that is listed on the Primordial Chaos 9 page. So make sure you check that out. Remember, we're Primordial Chaos 9 on Instagram, Primordial Chaos on Facebook. And also in the community section here on the YouTube channel. Any happenings, classes, updates, rather than having the email, pretty much anything that we're doing here in the channel is posted on those forums. So you can stay posted with pretty much everything that we're going on there, okay? Next set of online classes, again, will be late July. They'll start, I will start getting that together in a couple of weeks and start putting that out there. I know people have emailed about that. Our upcoming ritual next week, we will still be doing that. We keep it contained to a small group. It's more or less for local people. I don't recommend anybody obviously travel with everything's going on right now. So we will be performing the ritual of King Bilal. That'll be next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Again, I don't recommend anybody travel now with what we got going on. As of now, we're still far out, and I'm sure we'll be fine by October. We do have the Journey of the Black Adept Conference number 3 coming up October 30th to November 1st. Again, all these things are posted on the Primordial Chaos 9 Instagram page. They're posted here in the community section on YouTube and on the Facebook page. And again, the information's in the description box. Also, the Patreon page address is in there, which is patreon.com/Beniti. And again, the Patreon page is just for members of the Primordial Chaos family, their private classes, rituals, etc. I definitely recommend you check that out. I can go in on things a little more detailed and personal there that I wouldn't discuss here due to the fact I just don't think an open forum like this is appropriate for it. So I definitely encourage you guys to check the Patreon page out. If you are interested in a spiritual reading or a spiritual consultation, shoot me an email. Please, in your email, let me know the days and times you're available, and let me know the time zone that you live in so we can make an appointment that is suitable for us both. All right? I think that gets all the announcements out of the way. Don't forget to hit the like button, please. It expands the channel out on more. It reaches more people. The more likes, the better. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also hit the notification bell. That's the only way you'll get a notification when a new video is uploaded or there's a live stream like this. All right? All right, so let's get right into it. You see the title. We got a lot of shit going on, obviously, in the world. It's not a secret. Everybody's shitting their pants about this coronavirus. I don't like to give it the name or give it too much light, but we need to talk about what it's affecting. And that's the reason why I titled the video. Okay. It's funny how people's ideologies change when some shit hits the fan. I think we need to focus on what this is, regardless. I'm not going to waste time and energy. I did that. I went last week. I'm trying to keep you guys abreast on what's going on. And the right way to approach it, how we should on our path. That's the goal. That's the objective. We definitely don't want to approach it like majority of people are, because they're not grounded in any form of reality, and majority of them have no harmony between being grounded in reality and pure panic and fear. All right. This is important. So it's important that we have an understanding of how we should be conducting ourselves, our approach, and what we should be doing. Okay. So I want to talk about what it's not, but I'm finding it funny how stupid shit I started to see a few weeks ago. There was people saying dumb shit like in certain conscious platforms, oh, this don't affect people with melanin. Ignorant. As you see, there's plenty of people with melanin getting the coronavirus. So let's throw that out the box. Okay. Melanin is not a foolproof tool that is going to protect you from the coronavirus. Anybody that believes that is a complete bumbling fucking idiot. Let's establish that. Okay. I like how people adjust their spiritual concepts as things develop. I keep trying to tell people this is beyond black, white, Latino, Asian. Okay. I keep trying to tell people, and if you go back to classes I did going back 15 plus years ago, 20 years ago, before there was even YouTube, I kept telling people there would be a time when shit like this would pop off. Many people were. But I was focusing on, it's about classism. It's about social status quo. It's about what you are contributing. Are you taking from the system and draining it, or are you contributing? All right. I talked a little bit about that last week. Go back, check that video out. Okay. One, regardless of, a lot of people are wasting their time arguing over how it got here, how it was created. That shit is pointless at this point. The point is it's here. We're dealing with it, and it's affecting people to a certain degree. That's all that matters. You can come with your theories, where it was created. Was it man-made? I have my theories on it too. I shared those theories last week. I do believe, in my own personal opinion, the population control thing. There are some other factors at play, but I'm not going to waste my time on this video with that. I did that last week. So again, go back and refer to last week's video. What I want to focus on, we're all being impacted, I'm sure, to some degree. If you're a business owner, if you work for yourself, if you work for a company, or you just work a job. I'm sure a majority of us, depending on your field, unless you're in the restaurant industry, the medical profession, etc., or transportation and logistics, majority of shit is shut down. I myself recently just got shut down yesterday, official notice. Here's the thing we need to prepare ourselves for. Rather than look at this as a time of gloom and doom, because I said last week, it's going to get worse before it gets a little better. Okay, and we're seeing the spike now in cases because now there's a lot more people getting tested. So don't feed into that hype. This is something that was already there, but now because as they're making more testing available, there are people now getting tested, which is showing in the numbers that they're dramatically increasing, especially places like New York. Okay, so we got to be careful of how we perceive that. Okay, when you take on a mentality of gloom and doom, which you see, it amazes me how these so-called sanctified Christians and spiritual people are out here acting like animals. We got people talking about this is the end of the world. We got other people who use situations like this to promote their ideologies. You got another group of people, this is the New World Order, et cetera, et cetera. It could be any and all of those things. But here's the question I pose. Having said all that, again, it shows you the conditioned mind state most people have. Regardless of your perspective, and you're entitled to it, regardless of what you think it may or may not be, the point is it's happening in real time now. And the question is, what are you doing now in your approach to dealing with this and moving past it? Because it will pass like everything else. Believe that. But I can tell you it's going to be like this probably June going into July before you see any type of improvement. Okay? That's a fact. So the question is, how we approach things on this path. I keep telling you, when situations arise, and this is a very chaotic situation, we have the energy of a pet coming at us full blast from all angles, because bottom line is, and this includes myself, people's financial status is going to be affected by this. People's lives are going to be affected like this. Could be physically, health-wise. The economy obviously is going to tank. It's happening already, but it's going to get worse. And there's something I've kept saying. Now, I've heard about the financial reset, and I do believe that is definitely an option on the table. But bottom line is this. I've said many times, sometimes it all must be destroyed to be rebuilt again. We are in probably one of the most intense moments that we've ever experienced in our lifetime, dealing with pure chaos. But can you see the beauty in this chaos? That might sound crazy. What's so beautiful about this? You have to see it with the right eyes. And I'm not saying, let me not make sure we're not getting this twisted. I'm not saying it's a great thing that this has come and that people are suffering and dying. I'm saying it's a time for us to really look at ourselves rather than take this moment. Look, again, it will pass. Some of us, again, we're going to be victims of the circumstances, but not victims of the circumstances to the point where we're helpless. Okay? What you should be doing and focusing on now, rather than just, I know you hear everybody say, oh, everyone watch movies, watch Netflix, programming. No. If you've got a couple of weeks downtime, and it could be longer, depending on what business you're in and how long it's going to shut down. I believe it's going to be much longer. I know they're telling everybody to shut down for 2 weeks. It's going to be longer than 2 weeks. If you have this time now, this is a time you should really be intently focusing on yourself and your spiritual work. Because now more than ever, I can tell you this, I don't give a fuck what your spiritual belief, ideology, or practice is, because the bottom line is no Jehovah, no Allah. None of that stuff is going to help you if you don't understand, one, it starts with you, and you must activate that power within to have any type of access to it. Because I've said from jump, the only God you should be looking for, you should look in the mirror and you'll find the God you've been looking for your whole life. Now more than ever, you're going to have to depend on yourself to get things done. As a man, it's your job to take care of your family. It's our job to look out for others to an extent and a degree, especially family and friends. We need to be conscious of looking out for elders that can't look out for themselves, okay? Because there are people who can't. The thing we don't want to do is, many videos I've done over the years, sometimes people don't understand the extent of it until it's right at their back door. It's at the door. It's here. So my question I pose to my fellow adepts and magicians, what work are you doing right now to assist in getting past this process and moving forward? Because again, it will pass. It's going to take a little bit of time. We need to utilize that time that we have and really focusing on ourselves and what we need to do. A lot of people talk about, I ain't got the time to do anything. I'm on the go all the time. Well, now we're what, as we know, if you're familiar in the Satanic Rituals book, companion to the Satanic Bible, the 9 angles, right? Or the order of the trapezoid. And the 6th one is stasis, stagnation. Okay, we have hit a point in a period of stagnation and stasis, right? Let's talk about that for a second. What is stagnation? So, kind of things coming to a standstill, or stasis. Things kind of come to a halt. I don't want to say just the term stuck or in a rut, because that's not really what it is. But in that stasis, in that stagnation, okay, it's going to give you the time and the ability to reflect, think, and analyze. This is a great time to look at yourself, look at your life, see the direction you're going in. This is a time to make corrections that you need to correct about yourself. Could be your habits, your behaviors, analyzing your decisions, because you're going to need that moving forward. Because when things get back to normal, you're going to be dealt an even more critical situation, because they're not going to be how you found them. So what is the plan that you are formulating? What are the things that you are getting together in order to deal with that? Now is the time you should be going extra hard on your ritual work. If we say black magic is what is black magic? It's going into your subjective realm to force your will upon a situation to a favorable desire or outcome that you're seeking. Well, if there's any time more than now we needed black magic, now is the time, okay? You should be working rituals for paths to still be in front of you to rise up out of this. You should be doing work, trust me, as grim, and I started actually last week, as grim as the circumstances might seem, there's a lot of opportunity in this if you really know how to look at it and approach. I'm planning now, while I'm in the midst of the chaos, of what I'm going to do after the chaos subsides. That's how you should be thinking. Sitting around angry, down, depressed, acting like an animal and running to the store to buy 50 rolls of toilet paper and hoard everything on the fucking shelves. Okay, that shows somebody who's not in control of their emotions, has no control of their actions, possibly shot or killed. Because when you're reacting off of pure panic and fear, okay, remember they call it a pandemic, right? Has root in the word panic. They want you to panic because of the pandemic. And it's the worst thing you can do. Because I've said many times over the years, you are controlled by your fear and your emotions. Stop sitting in front of the idiot box all day and letting them pump shit into your head. Stay abreast. There's many quick ways to stay abreast on an app, on a phone. Stop being programmed with that. You know what this likens me to? And more so people down here can relate to it. When I first left New York and came here, I'd never been through a hurricane before. And your first major hurricane, which I've experienced, I think 2 of them since I've been here. One was pretty bad. The other one really wasn't. I liken it to that because it can become a little, the unknown can create a little bit of tension. But I noticed when there's a hurricane here, which again, hurricanes can be disastrous, just like any natural disaster can. But I noticed that the news, like anything else, they will pump dread and doom through the airwaves. And even when that stuff hits, and I'm sure we'll run into more, even when that stuff hits, it's your approach, people. I keep telling everybody it's your mind state and your approach to how you do things is going to determine, one, the results you get, and if the outcome is going to be beneficial in your favor. Because you can work all the rituals you want. Black magic, lesser black magic, medial black magic, it don't matter. If your approach and your intent isn't correct, nothing is going to work. So we need to really look at our approach and our intent right now. Look, a lot of us have been, in the last week or so, have been taken out of our norm. Reflect on the things that we take for granted, that we really don't have right now. Little simple things like going out to a restaurant for a nice meal. I don't take that stuff for granted. Being able to just move about wherever you want without having to worry about some virus. Sports activities, a big thing that was taken away from me. Let me give you an example. And all of us, the gyms are closed. But the first thing I did, which I hope everybody that exercises stays on their exercise program, I went and got me a set of dumbbells. I got an exercise ball, exercise mat, and I'll get my cardio walking around my neighborhood. Okay? What I'm saying is we got to adapt and adjust, not complain. I'm not going to stop exercising because the gym is closed. Okay? I started today. It's very easy. You go online, find a dumbbell routine for weight training, right? If you don't want to take up too much space, I could get a whole weight system, but I don't want to. You know, there's very creative ways you can get your cardio. It's very important we're still staying in our regular routine, not the routine that they established for us. No, I'm not talking about that. The routine you've established in your life that you do that makes you feel good to the best of your ability, you need to keep that level of normalcy. I haven't stopped my ritual work. I have a Friday morning routine attending to my altars, my regular exercise routine throughout the week. None of that is going to stop. And it shouldn't stop. Okay? This could be a time to pursue or look into or research things that you may not have had time for. This is what I'm saying. Now is the time to make order out of your chaos. Maybe now you have the time to amend issues with a family person, right? Maybe now you'll have more time to think, and maybe you have a stupid disagreement with a loved one or a family member that's gone on too long. Now might be the time to amend it. Got to really look at this, not get dictated to us by the media and these fools that are preaching gloom and doom. And please don't get caught up in these platforms and groups that are making it a race thing, because this ain't not about black, Latino, Asian, or white. I told you, when natural disasters come, weather calamities come, viruses like this, it doesn't give a fuck what your nationality, your race, or your ethnicity is. Because there was people online just a couple of weeks ago, and they've changed their tune, trying to make this a race thing. Oh, this is punishment for white folks. Please stop. Please stop. All you got to do is do your research. It's attacking and affecting just as many blacks and Latinos as it is, because that's their crutch to lean on. And now that it is affecting blacks and Latinos, these people have now changed their tune. Then they want to shift the narrative. Oh, no, what I meant. No, motherfucker, I got you on tape. I know what you meant. We gotta eliminate all that last week. Go watch the video. I ain't gonna waste time on that. No matter what your thoughts are on that, the point is we're dealing with it in the now. The here and the now is the only thing that matters. That's all that matters. The here and the now. And that next question is, what are you doing in the here and the now? Are you sitting around babbling conspiracy theories? Because I've heard them all, man. I've heard them all. I don't even want to tell you some of the ignorant shit that's circulating right now. Oh, this is the primordial mother's way of getting revenge. On what? Because there's going to be so-called, quote-unquote, divine feminine and females that are going to be affected by this. I'm trying to tell you, got to look at this at a bigger picture. Again, this might be quality time you didn't have with your kids. Some of us have hectic schedules, right? We don't get that quality time with your kid. Most of the kids are home from school now, right? What's your excuse now? Maybe you need some cultivating in your relationships right now with your children. You ain't got the excuse now. So the excuse that a lot of people have been using for many years, oh, I just don't have the time. Well, guess what? None of us can use that excuse right now. Go look at your altars. Maybe you need to, redefine or freshen up your altars. What areas of work in your life right now you should be doing rituals for protection and healing? And when I say protection and healing, putting that energy seal and barrier on yourself, your family, your close friends, and immediate loved ones. That's in my invocations every morning. And if I don't mention everybody by name, I mention all my close friends, family, and relatives. I mention the immediates that know. I mean, this is something I was doing before this shit. In this book here, which I keep here by my altar, book I've talked about for the last few years. Okay? The Necrominion book this book is great because if one of your interests is Egyptian Heka or Egyptian black magic, this is the book. Do you know how many rituals in here for healing, protection? I'm working on this right now, okay? See this shit right here? This right here, over the years, this is a book of rituals and invocations from various different sources, different work that I put together, that I've taken from other sources. See this here? This is my journal in here. Okay? You should be keeping this loaded with shit. So I'm going to go back and review all this stuff. Okay? Because I got the time. But I'm going to keep consistently doing the work I'm doing. But we should be focusing in the Black Ship book by Malthus. There's a ritual in there where you could put a seal, a barrier over where you live. Okay? You should be doing work right now to protect yourself and being susceptible to external forces or energy. Not out of fear, because that's not out of because you're a victim to your circumstances, because we understand life is life and anything can happen. We don't take the approach on this path that we're infallible. Anybody that teaches on this path and tells you just because you practice black magic, you can't be a victim to certain situations, they're foolish. But you have the power now to start making order out of the chaos before the chaos consumes you, is my point. Okay? That's the way we have to think. That's the approach. Because again, I'll say it again, and I'll probably say it a few more times before this video is done. This will pass like everything else. I saw a video today, and it kind of bothered me a little bit. I saw a video on my New York Post app, because I stay up on everything on there and the Washington Post, which you got to be careful with the New York Post. They kind of get like the Inquirer and shit. But there was a video clip of a nurse from London. This is fucked up. Really shows to show you how people are fucked up. There was a clip from a nurse in London who worked a 48-hour, 2-day straight shift. We're not thinking about our healthcare practitioners who are putting their life on the line. You never know. It might be one of us that need their help. Keep that in mind. They're in the field every day. They're not immune to this shit, but they're putting themselves in harm's way every day. We're not looking at it like that. This lady was distraught while she's in a hospital attending to sick people with this virus for 48 straight hours. She gets off and goes to the grocery store. The shelves are empty. She films it. She shows it to the point where she was emotionally distraught in the video. Think about how you're dealing with this sickness and disease for 48 hours straight, putting yourself in harm's way, and all she wanted was some fresh fruit. It's fucking sad. And it goes to show you how fucked up people are and how people are just reacting out of fear. We don't look at it like that. We got emergency responders, nurses, and regardless, look, I don't give a fuck what your your theory is on the medical field in America. Don't come to me with all the conspiracy theory shit, because you just might be the person that might need some help. But I think we need to start considering that moving forward. I mean, what if that was your mother? And I'm sure somebody watching this video might have a mother that is a nurse. Could be a single mom that's working 48 hours straight, and she can't even get off of work and get a gallon of milk, get a box of cereal, some fruit, something to cook, something to eat. I mean, the lady showed the video, and wherever store this was. I mean, I'm not talking about how you're seeing in America, just sections are empty. I'm talking about this shit was empty. I mean, they're doing it here. They're getting into fist fights here in South Florida over fucking toilet paper. How fucked up are you? Over toilet? How much shitting do you plan to do? What do you plan on shitting for weeks straight? I don't understand it. I don't understand again, I do. So let me not say I don't. I do understand it. That's when somebody's reacting out of pure fear. Okay? And we're not looking at the bigger picture. Okay? We don't respond like that. Okay? You should always have a stock of dry canned goods and food that you can last for at least a month or so. You shouldn't be doing it now. Okay, there's military packs you could order that never expire. Just got to do your research. My partner sent me a picture, fucked up, a couple days ago. He's out in Nassau County in New York, okay? And he sends me a picture of a gun shop on Hempstead Turnpike. And I believe it was somewhere near West Hempstead, Uniondale area. Somewhere in between there. Could be Franklin Square, Hempstead, Uniondale. I can't remember exactly where, but it was on Hempstead Turnpike in Nassau County. Anybody else from New York in that area, you know where I'm talking about. And there was a line around the corner for guns. Because this is the other thing that's going to, when people start reacting out of fear, and what we have to be careful of, there's going to be some other idiots that resort to robbing and stealing. And I don't want to put those thoughts out there, but we need to be prepared, because that's what this does. Is it's a spiral trickle down effect, okay, that just goes from one level of panic and fear to another. Do you know it's just as hard to buy bullets now for your gun as it is toilet paper? So what does that tell you? Last I checked, and you just got to do your research, our supply chain is fine. It's just they can't get it on the shelves fast enough, then they're buying it. That's number one. Number two, your power is not going out anytime soon. I've heard it gets feel, oh, the next thing they're going to do is shut off the power and the water. Well, if you start thinking that, that's going to make you react in pure fear. You got to understand the bigger picture of this. This is about the economy. It has nothing to do with that. This is about resetting the economy. A total reset. Remember, if you do your history, and I think it was the Spanish, I can't remember. If you go back and do your history, remember one of the last, can't remember the year, could be 1918. Don't quote me on that. I might be a little off. The last great pandemic like this caused a whole reset in the economy, and they introduced the dollar that we currently use now. You know the old adage, history repeats itself. When you have a national debt of well over trillions of dollars, when you have a social security system that's completely depleted, and it's also putting a strain on our healthcare system, okay, you do the math. It's not rocket science. Stop looking for fucking conspiracy theories. Stop looking to use race to justify your fucking fear and bullshit. People are so fucking stupid. And this is the shit people are trying to tell us. If it's not people who claim to be so-called conscious and conscious platforms, then we got these idiots on the news trying to strike fear into you. Okay? Educate yourself. Don't get caught up in sensationalism. And put motherfuckers on the spot that were talking all that conscious pro-black shit, race shit. Because it's affecting everybody. I don't give a fuck who you are. And melanin is not going to save you, people. These motherfuckers were saying this a couple weeks ago. Oh, if you have melanin, you're okay. The coronavirus can't affect you if you have melanin. And what the fuck are you basing that dumb shit on? Give me some, other than your stupid ignorance, what factual documentation, because these motherfuckers love, they're fact checkers. They love everything's, gotta have a fact or a source to check it. What fact are you basing that on? And I heard all the theories. I heard all the stories. None of them are in any shape, form, or fashion 100% true. Okay? A lot of them are getting that science, and all due respect, from Dr. Sadie with the whole breakdown of the carbon element. There's more than melanin than carbon. It goes way beyond that. We need to understand the difference between neuro and neuromelanin. You could be dark skinned, have the darkest neuromelanin. I'm talking look blue black, like you're straight out of Nigeria, but you could be sick as fuck because your neuromelanin is all jacked up. You're sick on the inside. You're not getting the proper neuromelanin to your organs. I want to read something to you guys. This is a good friend of mine. And I want to make this clear before I read it. I forgot about this because I did want to read this for this class. This is a good brother of mine named Curly that I've known for many years. All right. He's been in nutrition for many years. He's in a high position with health foods. He's not a doctor. I want to make that clear. And I'm not giving this as medical advice. Leave that to the medical professions. But I want to read something that he put out there because he's using common sense. Okay? Now also is the time to educate ourselves on health and diet. Okay? So I want to read something that he posted on Facebook. Hold on 1 second. Let me find it. Yeah, let me just search him. It's a good brother of mine out of Providence, Rhode Island. I've known him since the late 90s. We've been through a lot of shit together. Good brother of mine. I got to actually give him a call. I want to put something on there he posted the other day. I mean, he's heavy into the science with health and diet. All right, here it is here. Pay attention to this, people. This is important because these are the things we should be doing to educate ourselves. All right, and this is from a good friend of mine, a good brother of mine. Many of you know that I supplement with 4,000 IU of vitamin D per day. I just had my levels, 25 hydroxy vitamin D levels analyzed, and they are 53 ng/ml, and I have hovered around this level for many years. With the recent threat of COVID-19, a respiratory illness, I wanted to share some data on vitamin D and general respiratory illnesses. I have shared this data a couple of years ago when it was first published, but it seems very relevant to remind people during a time when they will be spending more time indoors, since they may not be making as much vitamin D3 in their skin from sun exposure. Vitamin D is a steroid hormone that controls the activity of close to 5% now, of the protein-encoded human genome. 5% of it. Many vitamin D regulated genes are involved in immune function. A meta-analysis of 25 randomized controlled trials conducted in 14 countries found that vitamin D supplementation cut the risk of infection with respiratory illness. I've been taking I take a multiple, but I take a separate D3, 1,000 IUs in addition to that for years. Okay. Found that it cut the risk of respiratory illness, RFKK, J34 respiratory illnesses by 50% in people that were vitamin D deficient and by 10% in people with normal vitamin D levels. According to the Endocrine Society, blood levels of 25 hydroxy vitamin D below 20 ng/milliliters is considered deficient. Less than 30 ng/ml is inadequate. Individuals with levels between 30 to 60 are considered adequate. Meta-analyses have shown that people with serum levels between 40 and 60 ng/mls have the lowest all-cause mortality. Studies have shown that typically supplementation with 1,000 IU of vitamin D3 per day can raise serum levels by 5 ng/mls. Okay? As many of you know, this COVID-19 illness, older people are disproportionately impacted, While I want to be clear that I'm not suggesting some magic cure for COVID-19, please be aware, it is a fact that it is beyond reproach that vitamin D status is an immune impacting factor that strongly declines with age, that is easily remediable with supplementation. To highlight why this is an issue with older people, it's generally thought that a 70-year-old is almost 75% less efficient at producing vitamin D from the same dose of sunlight as their former 20-year-old self. So when you get that age, you're automatically losing 75%. And vitamin D, as we know, is critical for a healthy immune system. Okay, so we need to start educating ourselves on what we can do to supplement our immune system and our diet to assist and fight this. Okay. He also has an article posted here validating that. And I don't know the website. But that's something he posted on his page. I think we need to educate ourselves on that. Vitamin D is critical for proper respiratory and breathing. A lot of this stuff they're not telling us because they don't want us to look towards any natural remedies. And I want to be clear. Let me make this clear because I don't want anything to get misconstrued. This is not medical information. I am not a doctor, nor is my good brother that posted that. But what we need to be aware of is using common sense and educating ourselves. Okay? There's things we could be doing now. I've been taking 1,000 IU plus my daily, I think it's 400 IU in my multiple. So that's 1,400 a day. And I probably need to increase that as I get older. Because now that we're not getting out into the sun, but I'm out in this today, I was out there for a good hour straight walking, tank top, shorts, absorbing. And you know what? Feel a lot better when you're out in the sun. Getting some sun, fresh air to kickstart that immune system. Okay? This is important, people. All right, the vitamin C helps to a degree. I told you last week, though, if you don't have bioflavonoids in it, the body doesn't absorb it as well. That's something I learned years ago. You can take high doses of C, but the bioflavonoids help absorb it, and you'll piss most of it out if you don't have one with good absorption. So the other thing we need to educate ourselves on is when we're taking these supplements, make sure we have knowledge on absorption methods, because if you're taking too much of this in, you piss a lot of it out. If you notice you're pissing a lot, that means you're not drinking enough of water. If your urine is not clear and it's yellow when you're taking a lot of these supplements, that means you're pissing majority of it out. It simply means you just need to drink more water, okay? You just need to take more water so your body is absorbing it. Because there's a lot of people that experience that. They take a lot of vitamins and supplements, but they find themselves urinating a lot more, and they see, like a bright or yellowish, heavy yellowish color to the urine. You're just not drinking enough fluid. So understand absorption. There's a lot of theories on should you space these supplements out. It all depends on what it is and what you're taking. But I can tell you now, and there's still some on the shelves because I went and picked some more up today, definitely need to at least a minimum 1,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. That's going to help your immune system, your respiratory system big time. Trust me when I tell you. And even though my good brother posted that on his Facebook, that's something I've been doing for years. Years. And that's a crazy stat. If you're 20, by the time you get in your 60s, going into your 70s, you naturally produce 75% less of natural vitamin D3 in your body because of the aging process, because of the immune system weakening more. That's something we can now calculate that, do the math. If you're not at that age yet and you're in between, let's say you're like me, 48 years old, I could probably take that number to 55 to 60%. I probably produce less depending on your age. So this is the shit we should be doing. That's what I'm saying. It's your approach. Make order out of your chaos. Do your research. What plan of action do you have moving forward? Because the bottom line is this shit is here. We're dealing with it on some degree, regardless of what your theories are, what it is, where it came from, and what the objective is. We went through all that. We know that. See, the thing that fucking kills me with people, everybody knows the problem, but nobody offers any solutions. Is there one particular solution? Obviously not. But remember, I said many times before, being on this path is about being a critical thinker. Okay? I just saw it here. Jurgen Mormon. I won't because I saw it pop up at the corner of my eye. They do say that is one of the theories of why children catch this virus less, because their bodies produce a lot more D3 than us who are older. And there's many articles you can Google and find out. They're saying that definitely has something to do with it. Okay? So if we're older, I mean, when I say old, I don't mean old in your 70s and 80s. If we're in our 20s, 30s, if we're mature, thinking, responsible people, we need to start acting like mature, thinking, responsible people to ourselves first and to our children and our family, our friends, and our loved ones. Okay? These are things we need to be doing. All hope is not lost. It's only lost if you accept defeat. What do I say all the time? You're only a victim of and a victim of your circumstances, and you're defeated by them, and you are defined by them if you allow and accept it. Okay? That's it. You should be going hard on your rituals right now, hard on your meditations. Get that book I mentioned earlier, The Black Ship by Malthus. Do that ritual to put a barrier around your living space and your family. Invoke the dark gods and the goddesses to put that energy and that seal in front of you. I do it every morning, not just now, but I'm doing it now in different ways. Okay? Because nobody ever said, regardless of what you think you know, who you think you are, and how much power you think you have, you just might be in the path of this. And don't speak foolishly. Nobody is obsolete. I don't give a fuck who you are. Nobody is obsolete. But at the same time, nobody is a victim to this unless they allow themselves. All right? I'm going to go through the chat and I'll answer your questions. Purple Haze, I'm going to go back at the top only because I saw that pop up. The book is the Necrominion book and the Black Ship. There's great rituals, Egyptian Heka rituals on black magic in here for healing and protection. This deals with the system of Sethian black magic. These are the works of Charles Pace that were republished by Michael W. Ford. Charles Pace was a high priest of Set. He considered himself a black magic and the mysteries of the priesthood of Set. So if one of your interests is working Sethian or Set black magic from ancient Egypt, Heka, this is a great book. Right now, if you claim you're connected to the demonic realm and the power that it can manifest, now is the time. Because don't be like these fools now, because we could simply sit here and make stupid statements like, and I won't do that because it's taking cheap shots. I hear people saying dumb shit like, and I could do that, but it's pointless. Oh, I guess the God of the Bible isn't powerful because the churches are closed down. He ain't even allowing his people to go to church. I could say that, and there's some truth to that. But I say that not to knock Christians or Muslims or Jews. It's to show you that God has nothing to do with this shit. Because the bottom line is masjids are closed, temples are closed, churches are closed in fear of gathering. So even their God, regardless if you accept it as true, false, reality or not, even their God can't protect them from this. So we have to be productive and take action ourselves. Okay? That's it. All right, so let me go to the top. I'll take some questions for the next 30 minutes or so. I don't look like there's too many questions. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, serpent-headed mask. There's two platforms I do. Actually, with the readings lately, because there's always some issues with connecting. I was using the free conference call. I was using Google Hangouts. Now I just do them right over the phone. It's easier. There don't seem to be problems with internet connection. I did use Skype, but that started to become a problem. So, I mean, if by request, can do them those forms of video chat or simply over the phone. That just seems to be, the best way, because I have had issues with being in live video chats, and usually it's not my connection. I know I got a good connection, but if by request you don't prefer to do it over phone and you are on one of those platforms, it can be done on any one of those platforms. All right. And if you do contact me for one, just specify days and times you are available and the time zone you live in. That's very important. All right. What else we got here? Serpent-headed Mask also says, I'm a courier driver and we are shut down. Everything here in North Dakota is slowly coming to a halt. Only 6 active cases as of yesterday. Stores are still stocked, though. We are hunkering down now. Yeah, it's everywhere. And I noticed that. I know last time we were on there, you didn't have any. And now, yeah, you guys are 6. The crazy thing that's fucking crazy here in South Florida, and I'm in the Broward, Dade County, Palm Beach County, which basically encompasses Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. That's what they consider South Florida. Broward County has the most cases. As of last time I checked, they had a little bit over 100. Dade is right behind them with a little over 100 and something. Palm Beach is the lowest, which is 29. The whole state had, as of this morning, I haven't checked since then, 400 and something cases, which may not seem like a lot, but it's a decent amount. But here's how fucked up this is. If you go just north of Palm Beach County, the next county over, Martin County, they have 0 cases right now up until this point. The Treasure Coast, Martin County, Sebastian, 0, which is really just north of Palm Beach County. But then when you go further north and start getting into Central Florida and Orlando, they have a lot of cases. Okay? So it's about educating ourselves. And a lot of that has to do with the people that are there, where they've been, who they've been in contact with, traveling or not. Because obviously we're seeing people have been walking around with this for a while because there's a lot of cases now that are not just travel related. Obviously, you knew something like this was going to happen in New York. You knew something like this was going to happen in LA because there's so many people from the international communities that live there and travel. So you knew this was going to happen, right? And you'll probably see it get between, and it's almost at 10,000 cases in New York. You'll see it get somewhere between 10 and 20 before all said and done. Because you're seeing the effects now again, like I said in the beginning, if you came on late, that's because more people are being tested. It's nothing to panic. It's not like really, in essence, it's new. It's just it was always out there. We just didn't know. And really, this been bubbling since December going into January. And these fuckers knew that. And they didn't really make this an issue late January going into February. Okay? So it's very important we educate ourselves and have the knowledge, right? Other things you could be doing, obviously, drink a lot of water, stay hydrated, make sure you have proper supplements. Talked about C with bioflavonoids, at least 500 milligrams or more, 100 IUs a day, D3. Most supplements are D3, but make sure it's D3. Regardless, if you're hunkered down at home, I'm making sure my kids, myself, my wife, get out there and get some sunshine, get some air. Even if you're limited, if it's just being outside on your front porch, if it's walking around your neighborhood, I'm doing my cardio now because the gym is closed. I'm walking through my neighborhood. You know, we have a park. We have a nice little area that we can walk. So I'm out there now getting my cardio outdoors with son. Don't stop your exercise program. I went to Walmart this morning. I was fortunate enough to find a couple of dumbbells. So now I'm supplementing my weights in the gym with a good weight workout with dumbbells. You can do wonders with 2 simple dumbbells, people. You don't need a full gym. And all I did was go on the internet and I looked at several different dumbbell weight training programs, and I found one that works for me, that's going to work, that was similar to what I was doing. So I'm still doing my exercise. I got one of the exercise balls to work my abs, the medicine balls, and then do my cardio walking. Stay in your routine. I'm still doing my studying. I'm going to watch a little Netflix later. It's important now you have your routine, not the routine that they established, not sitting in front of the TV like a fucking zombie and having fear pumped into you. I'm saying stay abreast of what's going on. I do that mostly, again, on my app. I don't really watch the news channels because them motherfuckers is peddling poison, and all they want to do is sell you sensationalism. With the dramatic music when the people say in red, the coronavirus, baby. All that shit is psychological and it fucks up your head. You may think it's not a big deal, and please don't put your fucking kids in front of that. Talk to your kids and tell them, because kids are asking questions. Now, probably like most of your kids, like my kid, he's online. They're on Zoom having classes every morning on Zoom. Well, spring break, it starts officially Monday. But it kind of got to me and hit me here where the kids they had to write 3 sentences about something, full sentences about something that they wanted to talk about. And don't you know, several of them kids said, I wish the coronavirus would go away. These are kids. I'm saying this to tell you, it was a little emotional for me because my son's 6 years old. I heard several kids saying that, and I looked at my son's face when they said it, and I could tell it affected him. It's important we talk to these kids and because most of them not really understanding the full extent of what's going on. They know something is going on, but they really don't know the full extent of it. It's important we sit them down and educate them and tell them, look, this is why things are the way they are, such and such. It may be like this for a while, but don't worry, you're going to be fine, etc. Educate them. Please don't sit them in front of the idiot box. Please don't let somebody else dictate to them. I'm talking especially if you got small kids. I got a 6-year-old. Okay, I'm sure many of you have young kids. Make sure you're comforting them and letting them know that this is something that will pass like everything else. It's just we might have to adjust certain things we do for the next 7. Like my little guy is a hockey fanatic, right? He's been into hockey hard now, going back to last summer. And I had to explain to him why there's no hockey practice, why there's no hockey games, why he can't skate right now. He loves to skate. I mean, all this kid does in the house, he's got makeshift goal nets, equipment. All he's doing is he practices all the time. They're going to be actually showing replays. He's like, can't understand why his Florida Panthers aren't playing hockey. I had to explain it to him for safety reasons. But they're going to be replaying the games, some of the key games starting tonight. So I'm going to sit down with him tonight. We're going to watch a replay of one of the games. Got to be creative in times like this to keep that level of harmony there. I don't even want to say normalcy. Harmony. Let them, as best as you can. Obviously, we can't mask the fact that there's shit going on and things obviously have been disrupted. That's a fact. But we can't let that disruption filter into our minds and poison us and filter into our children's minds. It's important. So they're looking at you as an example right now. And you need to be a good example. Okay, so if you're acting like a nut, if you're running to the store buying 50 rolls of toilet paper, they're seeing this behavior. And then it's triggering panic and fear in them. Something's wrong. It's our job. That's part of the job of being a parent. You're a protector for your children. It's your duty to take care of them. It's your duty to keep them safe. It's not a motherfucking option. Okay? But anyway. But I feel you on that serpent-headed mask. It's like that everywhere. I know here, just like everywhere else, but I know California went into a complete shutdown. New York's getting ready to do that now. Same thing here. The only thing that's really open here are restaurants, takeout only. You can't sit down, and the supermarkets, and just medical doctors' offices. I think banks, post offices are still open here. UPS store. I know we went to the post office today. Just essential business. If it's not a mandatory, basically all retail is shut down. So if it's not in the service industry of food, everything is pretty much, for the most part, shut down. It's everywhere. And yeah, it needs to be done. Yeah, I don't think 2 weeks is going to fix it, though. I got to keep it real. I think it's going to take longer than that. All you got to do is look at Italy. They've been shut down for damn near a month, and they still got issues. And there's probably more to it, but we don't want it to get to that level here because that's catastrophic. When thousands of people are passing away. You understand what I'm saying? So we just need to do our due diligence. Okay, what else we got? Yeah, good comment by Patra. I see how we can benefit from this misfortune. Family first for one, and getting this work done. Exactly. Ritual Spirit says, was in my first earthquake. Oh, you was in that earthquake in Utah. That's right. You're from Utah. Yeah, it's an interesting experience, especially if you've never been through it before. Like I say, I've never been in the midst of a high category 3, category 4 hurricane, which that was some frightening shit. Even though I had my house with, my house has hurricane shutters, which eventually I want to go to hurricane windows, but that's a lot of money. But I have good quality hurricane shutters, but still, that shit sound like, if death had a sound, that sound like a locomotive train coming right through the center of your living room. And I'm sure a tornado is even worse. But yeah, an earthquake is probably a whole nother experience. I've heard stories. I've never been in one, so I couldn't really fully connect or relate. But yeah, it's the circumstances sometimes in a situation, that we're dealt. It is what it is, man. It sucks, but it is what it is. Patrick says, getting my entrepreneur game in order as well. Yeah, utilize this time to do things again that you wouldn't have the time to do. That's what we got to do. Serpent-Headed Mask says, I'm going to spend quality time home with my fiance and the kids and read Seven Faces of Darkness. Just pick that up. There you go. That's what I'm saying. Stay in your regular routine, not a program routine that they've given us. And that's what I'm doing. I'm still doing my rituals. I have a regular Friday morning routine. Friday morning is the day I tend to my altar, change water, fluff things up, adjust things I need to adjust, do my workings. I have a Friday morning routine. I'm not stopping none of that. Okay? And we shouldn't stop none of that because that keeps the harmony. Okay? Friday night, we're going to order some food in a little bit. Do like we always do. Friday night, we order food, eat, watch some movies, and chill. I'm not changing that. And I'm not worried if in 2 weeks I'm in the same situation as most of you. I may not have a position in 2 weeks. It's very possible. I may not have I may have to go on unemployment just like other people might. But I got a plan. I do shit on the side. I'm not going to stress it. Because fact of the matter is, if that happens, it's going to happen. But it's not going to change what it is I do. It's not going to affect me on that level. It's not going to affect what I built up. Will I have to tighten up in some areas if it gets that critical? Yes. But I prepared for something like that. It's not like if the job goes, I'm done. If my position at my company is taken from me, I'm done. No, it just means I got to make some adjustments, which I've already begun now. I'm already thinking. I'm not going to wait till it's done with. I'm going to have a plan. Now, they've told us, yeah, more than likely you guys are okay, but I'm not relying on that. I've even told my guys that work for me because I'm not going to bullshit my guys that work for me. They've been with me for years. And the last thing I want to do is lie to them. I couldn't do that. I told them, look, this is the deal. If you prepare for the worst, then you can expect the best. I wouldn't want to paint a picture because I know they're grown-ass men. They got wives, they got family, they got children. So the last thing I want to do is be dishonest with them. And anything I'm getting from the higher ups, I'm passing it along to them and telling them the real deal. Because I don't want them to be in a bad position. So I told them, prepare as if we're going to lose our positions. Prepare as if you need an alternative. Because in fact of the matter, a lot of us who haven't been laid off or lost their businesses or down operating, we don't know what's going to happen after 2 weeks. But the bottom line is I'm not going to wait around for that. I'm already doing things, making moves to adjust to that. And that's why I'm saying stay in your routine. I'm not worried about that. If you put all your eggs in one basket and you're relying on one thing, then yeah, you probably have some concerns you might want to address. Okay? There's several different things I can do and have looked into and are doing on the side in addition to what I do. And you just got to make the adjustments. I'm not going to live in fear. You understand? Because it is what it is. Life is life. Shit happens and life goes on. And one thing you're going to learn, life don't stop for nobody. And now you know what I meant when you heard me say over the years on videos. One thing I learned years ago, nobody gives a shit. And I was saying that to say, because you better get up off your ass. You better not feel sorry for yourself because at the end of the day, the only person that's going to be able to help you is you. That's what I mean when I say that. I'm not saying that to sound callous or cruel or harsh. Now, if you took it that way, not like I care anyway. But my whole point is I'm saying that because that's the fact of the matter. The sooner you learn that, the better off you will be. And that's why this path is called the path to self-mastery, not the path to somebody do it for me, not the path to wait around so some spook god or force or being or spirit can come and fix everything for me. No. The gods are only as powerful as you are. So I don't care what you accept. I don't care if you're working with Tahuti, Set, Kali, Lucifer, Hecate, Arachne. I don't care who you're working with. Asmodeus, Belial. They're only as powerful as you are because they only can work through the very power that you facilitate. If you're weak, they're weak. If you're strong, they're strong. They don't come to the weak. You have to draw and bring that energy out via your psyche. All is mental. Mental is all. The universe is mental. The gods reside within, not without. Know thyself, and thou shalt know the God. So if you don't know yourself now in this critical time, if you don't have the ability now to make order out of your chaos now, you're going to be in trouble, people. Because I can tell you, all the praying in the world isn't going to do nothing right now. Jehovah can't help you. Yeshua, Jesus can't help you. Allah, Subhanahu Ta'ala can't help you right now. The only help you should be looking for is at the end of this arm. That's the helping hand you should be looking for. This motherfucker right here. Okay? And that's it. It's not that complicated. Don't feed into the fucking fear. Because they've been doing that to us for years. They've been trying to control us via our emotions through the emotion of fear. Shit, religion is precepted on the concept of fear. If you don't do this, you're going to go to this place called hell and burn forever and be tortured for eternity. That's some hardcore shit right there, right? Think about that for a minute. And the Catholics got it even, man. They added another layer to fear called purgatory. I'm telling you, man, listen. It's about doing you right now. All right, what else we got? All right, yeah, I see Raven posted the Patreon page. I do encourage you to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/Beniti. It's been going well. It's only been up a couple of months. I do private classes on there for Patreon members only. Tier 3 members, I do rituals. We just did our first ritual. I performed a Black Massa set on there a couple of weeks ago. We have the ritual of Rosary of the Holy Death, Santa Muerte, coming up next month. I'm going to show people how to do that. Matter of fact, give you a little. I'll grab it. Actually, I'm going to show you how you use the beads. I'm going to show you the proper way to do those invocations. I'm going to show you the proper way to vocalize your intent and removing all the religion from it, because there's a religious way to do that that's influenced by Catholicism. That's not the way I'm going to show you. There's a black magic way of doing that via invocations, tying knots, as some call, and putting some work out there is the best way I can describe it. I'm going to show people how to do that. It's a great energy to connect with right now with all that's going on. And one practice I started to incorporate last week is a weekly invocation of the Holy Death Rosary because of what it represents. Another great system or power or work you can do for protection and putting that energy over you that you need to keep you strong and vital. Okay? So that's coming up on the Patreon channel for Patreon members. We have a class on Sekhmet coming up. I just did a class the other night on Samael, the Angel of Death. A real good class. And if there's any Patreon members on here who didn't make that class, it is in the post section. It is archived. I suggest you go look at that class. A lot of good information in that class. And as I've told you before, I have a personal connection, a very personal connection with Samael. Man, just check that class out. So I would encourage you to check out the channel. You won't be disappointed. Definitely go to the patreon.com/Beniti. It's 3 different levels of membership. Tier 1, 2, and 3. Find out which one works for you. I would recommend 2 or 3. 1 really doesn't give you access to much. 2 gives you access to the classes. 3 gives you access to everything. Classes, rituals, personal one-on-ones with me. So I'd suggest, obviously, Tier 3. And I'm constantly doing stuff on there consistently. And I can get a little more personal. But definitely check out the channel. All right. What else we got? Jurgen Mormon says, I'm learning stuff online that will be beneficial for my business before and after the crisis. There you go. See, that's being proactive, not reactive. And that's what I'm talking about. Be proactive in this time. We're all in this situation. Nobody's obsolete from it. Okay? Including myself. Again, I'm facing the same thing probably most Americans are facing. Okay? Some of us may not know if we're going to be in the positions we are in a couple of weeks from now. Some of us have already lost our jobs. Look how they're crashing unemployment. People applying for unemployment at a record rate, never seen before. It's just a day and time we're in, people. But that's good, Jurgen Mormon. Good. Yeah, and a good comment earlier. I know sometimes YouTube blocks it when you use profanity, but it was in a good way. Where is that? I King Ruler said earlier, I'm telling you, we'll stop this race shit. This situation gives us time for more spiritual work. True indeed. You're going to find out the sooner. Look, I'm telling you, when I go back to my young days, let me say this. It's coming from a person, I've been there. If I go back to my teens, I could take you to a time. I graduated high school in 1989. I was part of that whole militant movement. I was rebellious. I was part of that whole black militant conscious movement fueled by hip hop and Public Enemy, which was a great time. I was part of that whole answer rule law. Well, first I went into the 5%, but they weren't militant like that. They was on there. I still study my 5% degrees to this day, and I never will stop studying them because there's still a lot of essence of truth in them. I went from that into that whole Ansar movement, I've been through that whole comedic thing, the whole nine. And I noticed that they all lean on race as a crutch. And I found out all it did was make me more resentful, more hateful. And it gave me an excuse of why I kept on failing. And things started to soar as soon as I left all that shit alone and started to see the bigger picture. And by all means, do not misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there are not issues out there that are or racial discrimination that's still not a problem in this country. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying things like this, there is an overall big picture. The sooner you realize that, the better you will be. It goes well beyond race. Because what's going on in society now, it's about social status quo. And when we talk about everything that's going on with this virus, when we're talking about population control, we're talking about our Social Security pretty much being gone and the elderly being a strain on that, the strain on the healthcare system. We're talking about trillions of dollars in debt. What we're looking at, people, is a whole reset in the economy. All you got to do is go on to the World Bank. Did you pay attention? The beginning of this week, the World Bank released $7.5 billion in bonds. $7.5 billion. Do your fucking research, people. What does that mean? Right before that, what was every state doing? Declaring what? A national emergency, which is just a formality. In order for you to get some of that dough, you have to declare a national emergency. Back up even further to that, if you really want education on really what's going on, it's sad I even got to do this, but let me back up. In order to even initiate any of those initiatives, you must declare a pandemic, which they did right before that. And then it has to be an X amount of deaths so this money can be justified. This is why I keep telling you it's going to be carried out a little longer than they're saying, to the summer going into the fall. Trust me. So it can get them in the position to say, look, we got the 7.5 billion, which is probably more coming from the World Bank. We've declared national emergency. We've distributed X amount of money to all these states. We're going to reset the economy. All you got to do is Google it. Google global reset in the economy. Then also factor in when this all popped off. When China and the United States, Trump and China were going hard on a trade agreement. Trump said, no, fuck that. We're taxing all the exported goods that come in from China. China said, that's fucking crazy what you're getting ready to charge us. We're getting ready to do the same to you, and then some. You do the math. See, you don't see all that picture because everybody's, oh, this is a conspiracy. They trying to destroy the black man and all. Get out of that shit, people. You better look at this the right way or you're going to fall to the wayside and drown in your ignorance. We're looking at an entire global reset in the economy. You cannot fix trillions of dollars in debt. I told you, we'll be long dead and gone. Our kids' kids will be long dead and gone, and they'll still have this debt if they don't do something to fix it. Go back to the last great pandemic. I told you. Right after that, they introduced the currency we're using now, the dollar, after they shifted away from the barter system in gold. This is why they say have gold now, because gold is and silver, not just gold, gold and silver will always be worth something. If you've ever noticed, you see it on the commercial, on the radio, on the TV, it's a lot more commercials now circulating. Pawn your gold, pawn your silver. They'll give you money for it right now. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why they're encouraging you to sell your gold and your silver. This is what we're looking at. Stop thinking it's the end of the world. This is just another process of the system. All right? Now, ask yourself this. Let me address another theory that's out there. People are saying it's the New World Order, right? Brain chips, vaccines, all right? This is another gimmick people like to use to create conspiracies. Well, here's the deal. All you got to do is Google the brain chips, right? They've been trying to do this for years. Is this a way they can do it? What are the brain chips? Well, if you Google the brain chips, actually, that's my partner Curly right there. Yo, Curls, what up? I'm doing good, man. How you doing? I was just actually reading your post that you put on Facebook with the vitamin D. I was just sharing that, man. Right. Hold on one second. I want to put you on speaker so because I'm with some people. I want them to hear you. Okay. Hold on one second. I'm gonna try to put them on speaker so you guys can hear. I don't know how the sound's gonna be. Curly, can you call into this number actually, where I can actually put you on speaker? Can I give you another number? No. Call me at this number, 561. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a number. I want you to call me on this number. Hold on. All right, I'll text it to you. All right. Hold on. That was my partner Curly. I'm gonna have him call in right now so you can hear him. I want you guys to hear what he's saying. Hold on one second. Hold on one second. Damn. Oh, I gotta open this app. Shit. Hold on one second, people. Just bear with me. Bear with me. No. Damn. Hold on one second. I'm just signing in. Computer was bugging out. I want you to hear what he was just telling me. I number so I can have him call him. Hold on. I'm gonna have him call in because he was just dropping some stuff. I want you guys to hear it rather than me reiterate it. All right, he should be calling in a minute. Hello? All right, just give him a minute. He should be calling in a minute. I'm gonna get him on this way you guys can hear it for yourself. I want you guys to hear it. So let's just wait for him to call in. And I'll get him on. He's driving, so just give him a minute. I text him the number. But yeah, I think this will be good. It's funny because you heard me tell him that I was just telling him that I was just reading what he posted. But let's just wait for him to call. He should be calling in shortly. All right. Just wait for him to get here. What else we got? Damn, it's already 7 o'clock. Damn. Make sure you got it. Did you get the number, girl? Oh yeah, dial because I'm actually doing a show, so I want you. You're gonna actually be live. That's the number to plug into the show. I want you to talk about that. All right. All right. Cool. All right. He's calling in right now. He was dialing as I called him. It's crazy. All right. So he's dialing now. Let's just give him a minute. So he must got some slow ass fingers. Came up. Where'd it go? Just rang and it stopped. What happened? Yo, Curl. I'm gonna call you back because see what it did was it hung up when you called me. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna call you from that number right now. All right. All right. Yep. Let me call him because it hung up. Let me dial and call him. Let me do that right now. There it is right there. Why is it not working? Why is that shit not working? God damn. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Let me see if I can open another. It's going to let me open another window. Hold on 1 second. See if I can do this. Shit. Damn. Oh, there we go. There we go. I got it. All right, I got it now. This thing's cutting the fuck up. Let me try it now. All right, let's try it now. All right, I got it. All right, there we go. There we go. We got it.
Hey,
Curl, what's going on, brother?
I'm right here.
All right. So, people, this is a good brother of mine that I was telling you about. That excerpt that he posted on Facebook that I was reading. I was letting him know, Curl. I told him that we know each other for a while, going back to the mid to early '90s, late '90s, and
Yeah.
I was letting him know, it wasn't medical advice, but I was letting him know you've been in that field for years. So I read your post on vitamin D, but I want you to go ahead with anything else you could share. I know you started talking to me when I picked up the phone. I figured I'd just plug you in because you called at the right time. So why don't you go ahead and build on that for a minute.
All right. So basically, so you said you already read the post, right?
Yeah, I read the thing that you put on Facebook about vitamin D. But if you got something else you want to add to that, and then the other stuff you were going to talk, just go ahead.
Yeah. All right. So what's going on as far as this virus? There's a lot of things that are unknown at the moment. But some things that are known is that it does cause an overreaction of these inflammatory proteins called cytokines, and it basically has an affinity for the tissues in the lungs. So it's like a respiratory illness.
Right.
And basically, a lot of people think that elderberry is going to help them against this. And what's going on is the elderberry also reduces cytokines. So you don't want to flood your body with too much of that, because basically what you're doing then is creating a ton of inflammatory compounds. And then basically you could just, kind of speed up your own illness.
Right.
And so that's one thing you don't want to be messing around with too much elderberry,
Right.
And the other part is that if you want to take, I'd say, like anti-inflammatory things like turmeric, ginger, bromelain, like pineapple has a lot of bromelain, all that stuff is anti-inflammatory.
Right.
And every disease, one way or the other, has a link to inflammation. Whether, and not to think of inflammation as like swelling or anything like that. It could be at the cellular level,
Right.
or something that you can, it could be a microscopic, but yet it has an effect on the body that can, that can deteriorate certain tissues.
Right.
It's all inflammation, and
Right.
Just kind of keeping the inflammation down is crucial. Like even like taking cold showers. Cold showers they're not fun, but they produce a lot of anti-inflammatory conditions in your body. They're called cold shock proteins, and the effects can last up to a couple of days, like a ton of anti-inflammatory compounds. And there's even other things where you can do hot and cold, where you go, if you have the ability to go in a sauna, you can go in a sauna, quickly come out after you've been there for a while, because as your body heats up, it's going to kill pathogens in your body also.
Okay.
So it's like you're giving yourself a temporary fever, to kind of like kill and zap some stuff.
Curl, what about a hot tub? Because I got a hot tub. Is that the same effect or no?
Saunas get hotter, but if you can maintain the water temperature pretty high, then you're still getting a lot of benefits, because it's still hotter than what your body would normally be.
I got you.
And so you're still going to get benefits out of that. And also, don't forget to stay hydrated, because when you're sweating a lot, you're also going to be, getting rid of a lot of electrolytes in your body, which you're going to need to replace. You can do that with coconut water, buy electrolyte packets. There's a company called Ultima, Ultima, and also I think IV something. There's like but they're both good. Coconut water too has a lot of electrolytes, so that takes care of whatever electrolytes you're losing through the heat. And also a lot of heavy metals are going to come out of your body too, like aluminum, lead, maybe not lead, but like aluminum, lead, and other kinds of heavy metals in your body that go along with that. And so let's see. And then, you can jump into the cold right after that. So it's like you're giving your body heat shock proteins and cold shock proteins, which are anti-inflammatory. And so these viruses, like especially this one, it's a respiratory illness, but it floods the lungs with those cytokines. So you want to be in an anti-inflammatory state.
Right.
One thing I found, like I have like a little protocol, and this is just me. You guys, do this at your own risk. I take, like right now, I've been taking like oregano oil,
Right.
olive leaf. Olive leaf extract has been shown to be really, really good for any respiratory condition, especially upper respiratory. That's really, really good.
Okay.
Anything that has golden seal doesn't discriminate between pathogens. It's just like a nuke. Got to go in there and destroy things,
Right. Right.
And also keep in mind that anytime you're taking anything that has the ability to kill pathogens, you're also going to be killing your own probiotics. So it's probably a good idea to eat some fermented foods or get supplement with a probiotic so that,
Right.
it doesn't go against you. So you to maintain the balance of your gut flora.
Yep.
I mean, there's not a ton of stuff that's known at the moment. They're kind of trying everything right now.
Right.
Yes, which it's kind of crazy because this virus is like a combination of different things. So, you go anywhere with that. But
Right. No, but that's some good stuff. Now, one thing I want to ask you real quick, when you were talking about the anti-inflammatories and inflammatories, I know they were saying like as far as medicines and painkillers like ibuprofen, that would be like a negative, right? Because that would make it worse, correct?
Yeah, those things are different. They act in a different way.
Okay.
They're not. So what happens is like they give you like an anti-inflammatory condition temporarily, but then when it wears off, you have more inflammation.
Right.
And that's the part that's kind of crazy. You don't want to be. And even so, if you take a bunch of it, is eventually you can have like ulcers in your gut. Doing all like it's just not worth it, man. I would rather maybe take a Tylenol that doesn't act like a ibuprofen or naproxen. I forget the mechanism, but if you're in real pain, I think Tylenol is the safest one right now if you need something like that.
Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I know, but how's everything going? On another note, everything good?
Yeah, everything's really good, man. Everyone's healthy. So far, so good, man. I thought about you, right? I'm not saying in the air, just a couple of jokes that it came to my mind when me and you used to hang out. And I was like, I had to call Mike and remind him of it. It was pretty funny. I'll talk to you another time about it.
No, but it was crazy because when I saw your call come through, I just decided to randomly read that, and then I see your call come through. I said, some crazy ass shit, man. But
that's how it is, man.
Yeah.
We've always been connected, man.
Oh,
It's just when that when that itch is in my mind, I'm like, you know what? I just gotta call Mike. Just gotta do it.
Yeah, they don't know the shit we've been through, man. Calvin was down here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he told me. He told you.
Yeah. We couldn't catch up though. It didn't work out because of shit going on. But how's everybody up there in Providence though? Are they acting a nut up there or?
I mean, I don't even know, man. I just kind of hang out with Dewey, Richard. It's very few. I'm kind of busy, man, all the time. So I do take my time though to unwind, and
right.
Just I'm always watching comedy, trying to stay positive. I'm always looking for the laughter, man.
Me too.
How I am.
I feel
trying to stay happy. I don't, we're human. We're gonna have our down times, but this is not a time to get all stressed out because there's nothing that can suppress an immune system like stress.
Big time.
That's the worst thing.
Big time, man. But how are the people there in Providence acting with all this? They acting like nuts in the store, or is everybody just kind of?
Oh, no, people are going nuts, bro. They, obviously there's not even toilet paper. There's, paper towels are there. Looks like people don't want to wet their butts with paper towels. They're a little stronger to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just in general, like even like the vitamins and herbal supplements, when they're shipping them, they're not even sending that many. There's like a limit to how much each store gets.
Wow.
And they're just controlling how much, kind of like what, this demand is so high that the companies can't keep up with it.
Well, yeah.
And
yeah.
That's what's happening, So there's a lot of stuff happening right now besides the virus, like a lot of laws being passed on the low, just a lot of opportunities for the World Bank.
Oh, yeah, I was just talking about that.
Yep. You know how it goes.
Yep. I was just talking about the World Bank before you called. That's what I was talking about. And you know, it's the funny thing is, and that's why I keep telling people, it's important. And I'm glad you're sharing this because it's important we educate ourselves because most people are quick to run and panic. But now's the time you really gotta, do your research, do your study, stop jumping off the deep end because regardless, look, I'm sure you probably heard all the theories. Everybody's got their own theory of how this came about. But the bottom line is we're dealing with it now, man. You understand?
Yeah, it's already here. It doesn't even matter what, how, or when, or whatever. You have to try to find out what people are doing. And there's a couple of people on YouTube that have really good information, but you have to make sure that they have like the right credentials, like peer-reviewed studies.
Mm-hmm.
And then gotta go research because it's your life, and you could potentially save the life of others too by just giving them one tidbit of info. So it's not just about you.
That's true.
And not to come in contact with so many people. I worked at a grocery store, man. I'm in the front line. So it's, I worry, man. My mom's older, she's always coughing and stuff. So I'm like, I don't even want to visit her because even if I have it and I'm asymptomatic or I'm not showing symptoms, I don't want to infect her. You know what I mean? Because she's going to be way more vulnerable than me. So, in that way, I worry because I have kids too. And,
sure.
But I try not to dwell on that. Just like, okay, what can I do to help her out? I have someone bring food or something. Or mom, go downstairs. There's something downstairs. I'll sanitize. Just little things like that, man.
Yeah, true.
You can do a lot of service to the people by staying away.
No, it's true, man.
From large crowds, small gatherings, you're fine, just washing your hands.
It's true.
The little things, man, that we took for granted,
I agree. And you're right. And that's what I've been telling people. Look, man, still got to live your life. You just got to be smart, do what you can, because like you said, getting completely stressed out, getting into all the conspiracy theories, all that shit is irrelevant at this point because the bottom line is
it really is, man.
It's irrelevant.
I'll tell you what, too, man. There's because besides what you believe or how you believe this thing came and jumped into a human, there's a lot of diseases that are making jumps from and these things. A lot of them are evolving, without the aid of man inside of animals and jumping into humans and making the evolutionary leap to infect us, right? Yeah. And so that's also happening. And one of the worst ones is affecting deer right now. I forget the exact terminology, but it's actually called CDC, right?
Right.
And this little protein virus it's like a new thing, and it's basically decimating the deer population. And when it jumps into a human, it hasn't been shown to. So they're constantly evolving. These little things, when you look at them a year later, they're completely different. Wow. They're getting more human. They're getting more human-like.
Wow. And
if these things make a jump, it's 100% fatal. So basically, any deer that catches it is gonna die. There's no a couple of deer survived. No, they're all gone.
Right.
If that shit makes, excuse my language, if that makes the jump into a human, we're gonna have a big problem. Because people are living through this, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff out there too. It's not just this, and it's not you have to look into find podcasts that that are educating, and then from there, gonna mention other things, jump into that, get yourself on point where you feel all right. I have to listen to a lot of things I don't agree with just to look at things from a different perspective.
Sure.
Because I know that even I have confirmation bias. I'll pull certain information just to confirm what I already thought I knew or lack belief. I still do that. And I know that I do that. So I'll put myself through an uncomfortable situation just so I even realize, how am I processing this info that I don't agree with? But what points are they bringing up that are good that I overlooked because of my bias?
Right.
So that's going to be very helpful for your own development too. Anything.
That's good advice. That's real important. Good advice, man.
Yeah, man.
Nah, I appreciate it. Listen, you just got off from work?
Yeah. Over here, about to paint the kitchen, man.
Yeah. Do your thing, man. I'm about to wrap this up and grab me some food. And in a little bit, I'll hit you back. I know you got the kids. I know you're busy. But I know we just called to check up, man. I'm going to hit you back. We'll chat it up.
When you got time.
No, yeah, in a couple hours. Give me a couple hours. I'm going to wrap this up soon. And like I said, I'm going to go run and grab some food and eat. And then when when I get settled in a few, I'll give you a quick call and we'll chat
All right.
chat it up on the side, brother.
I'm glad I was able to help, man.
Nah, appreciate you calling in, man. No doubt.
Anytime,
right,
brother. You take care, man.
All right, peace. All right. Hey, listen, man. And we spoke a couple of months ago. We stay in contact. It's funny how shit works. You know, when you're on the, like you said, you get that feeling. And though we don't talk, like obviously when I was living up there and we were together all the time, though we may not talk and see each other like that for the last several years, but it's like we always know there's a, you know, that feeling when, even before there's shit going on now, there's always that connection, like, you know, when to call that person. But we go back since mid to late 90s. I first met Curl. Him and another good friend of mine, Calvin. They were like little brothers. They were always. That's the way we rolled. They were a few years younger than me. Curl's a little closer to my age. He was a couple years younger than me. And Calvin was like the baby. And then you heard him mention a few other dudes, Richard, Dewey. So a little crew we had, and you know, they were always like, most of them were always like, except for Jimmy. Jimmy's my age. Most of them were like little brothers. You know, we kind of, you know, going back to them times, we kind of made them from boys to, I kind of say like boys to men in a sense. Because at the time we met, we were teenagers, early 20s type shit. And, you know, we've been through some shit, put it that way. That's good tape. But Curls has come a long way. And again, he's always been in that. He has his own real estate business, number one. But two, he's been a manager in the herb and nutrition department in Whole Foods for years. He works at the biggest location they got in Providence. And I mean, he's got clientele that go there just to see him. Only because, again, he's not a doctor. And I want to be clear, anything we discussed today, we're not giving medical advices. We're not doctors. We're just trying to share helpful information in regards to what's going on. So you could do your research and do things to help and assist yourself. That's it. But he's good at what he does. He's real good with nutrition, health, diet, exercise. That's his expertise. He's always been into that ever since I can remember. I've learned a lot from him. Maybe down the road, I'll get with him. Maybe we can come on and do a show on that. And bring him on. He can get into the whole exercise, diet thing, the whole nine. He's real good at it. So hopefully that information, the information he shared, gave you some insight. All right, let me see what else we got. Yeah, it's funny. Noni says, I'm going to finish these last couple up and then we'll wrap it up, people. I got to get to getting. Group think, Noni says, they under the spell of paper, stimulus checks paper, and dollar bill papers. That's why they fight no toilet paper. All right, that's true. All right, what else we got? Hold on 1 second. Damn, lost my spot. All right, here we go. Answer those questions. Yeah, that's also a good point by Purple Haze for the exercise. Dumbbells and jump rope is all you need along with burpees. Yeah, many simple ways you could exercise without a gym. So don't peak. Yeah, stay on your exercise program. All right. Eddie Machete. And yeah, no, Eddie, I think you just recently joined the Patreon page, I believe. Again, I definitely encourage you guys to check out the Patreon page, patreon.com/Beniti. Yeah, cool. I know you're out on the West Coast in Cali. Yeah, they shut down there. My son, my little guy, they're doing classes on Zoom right now. Today was the last day of school for so-called spring break here. It begins Monday. So he'll be officially off. But yeah, for this week, they were doing all their online. All their classes online using the Zoom platform. Yep, Purple Haze, another good comment. Don't stop the routine. It's time to start your side hustle. I agree. SBA has small business loans up to 250,000 and low rates. Yeah, that's why I said earlier. In a period that seems like gloom and doom, you got to look at the opportunity that's there. See, nobody's looking at it like that. Look at what is beneficial. And there's a lot of shit that's beneficial like that. That's the shit we got to start looking at. Another good comment by Ikua, definitely staying on routines, but also looking around and making sure that adjustments are made where necessary. True indeed. Kiana setting up businesses. True, that's it. Government contractor. Yeah, we got to look into all these things now. Okay. Jurgen, I'm not sure what time your comment came in, but I'm sure you heard Brother Curley on the phone. He was throwing a lot of supplements and alternative medicines out there. So I'd probably go back and replay that if you missed stuff. He was giving several different things in there, some good information. I think we need to really educate ourselves on the endocrine system, the respiratory system, and all those things that he talked about. He talked about a lot of foods. Talked about getting a lot of the metals out of your body. A lot of the different things he was talking about. I would encourage people to go back when this uploads if you missed and listen. All right. All right. What else we got? Gage Maletic. What's going on? Okay, Oni's also thrown in there. Just talking about some centipede tea with lemon and honey. Good form of detox. Yeah, Patra, that hot cold shower thing. Yeah, it's very similar to the Back to Eden book. I forgot about that book now that you brought it out. That's a classic, been around for years. I think myself too, now that you brought it up, I think we should go back and revisit that book. The Back to Eden book talks about a lot of that stuff. So that's another good reference point. Actually, I'm going to now that you brought it up, I'll be going back looking at that when I get a minute. Yeah, and tried it 72. What's up, brother? This helps your body ramp up glutathione production, right? Yeah, so I got to go back and revisit that book too. Definitely. All right, what else we got? Oni says it's 75 degrees in New York. Wow. Yeah, that Santa T will clean you out, though. All right, Michael Thompson says, I'm taking this time to read and study. I just wanted to share a great site, PDF Drive. .com. All right, we'll check that out. Yeah, I mean, you got to be creative. Do what you can do. There's a lot of things you can get accomplished. Good point by Oni, and that's important to understand. This virus attaches to your RNA, not your DNA, and that's what Curly was talking about with where your proteins are, and everything he was saying was centered around attacking that aspect, the proteins of your RNA, and that's a good point. They are talking about that. Now, I see, now from what I heard and read to Jay Finn's comment, as far as it being airborne, they're only saying kind of like aerosols, like when people in the medical profession, say if they have to put a respirator or something down your throat, it can release particles in the air temporarily, but to my knowledge, it's not a full airborne pathogen. That's only if they're finding when the droplets is released in the air, they're finding it can stay in the air longer than they thought. Now, yes, there could be a lot of speculation on theory. If we're dealing with the man-made control aspect of it, can they be creating an airborne? I mean, we could be here all day talking about that. But there's no knowledge or proof now that it's a completely airborne pathogen. So that's why they say it's you should be wearing a mask if you have it, so you can't release those aerosol particles or droplets, as they call in the air. And it doesn't really do anything for anybody that doesn't have it. It actually could be worse if you're wearing a mask and you don't have it, because you tend to take your hands and put them more closer to your face to maybe adjust the mask, and it could somehow get on the mask and get into your respiratory system. Remember, it's got to get in through your ears, your nose, and your throat. Mainly your nose and your throat. That's how it survives and thrives. That's very important to understand. I mean, this is the information's out there. Can we prove that all this is 100% valid? Is there windows of inconsistency to it? I'm sure. But we don't want to speculate and debate, but that is a good point with the mask. A lot of people have discussed that from day one. Should I be wearing it? And from the research and what I've done is, if you don't have it, you shouldn't, because it could just create more issues for you. Because again, you're touching your face, you're adjusting the mask, you're giving yourself a greater chance. Okay. What else we got? Yeah, and Oni just kind of confirmed what I was saying. Yeah. All right. Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, no problem, Jay. I think I'm going to end it there. Look, people, I just want to leave you with this, man. Look, stay positive. You know, I'm like Curly. I love comedies. I love stand-up. I've been watching a lot of comedies. Look, man, don't let them kill your joy. And remember, stress can suppress and put more strain on your immune system. It's very important, and I know it's hard with everything that's going on to stay in a positive frame of mind, but it's important we do. Laugh, have fun, spend some time with your children if you got children. Watch if you're going to watch movies, Netflix or whatever, watch stuff that's going to make you laugh. Take this time to get more deeply intense in your studies. You know, don't let them break your spirit. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Because like everything else, trust me, this will pass. It will pass. We're going to have a few months more of tough time. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat it. It's going to take more than a couple of weeks. So get your mind set, prepared to be like this. I'm going to say till about June going into July. It's what we're dealing with. Remember, it's your approach, your mindset. If you're going to approach this fanatical, in fear, scared, panicking, it's going to be worse for you. If you educate yourself, do your due diligence, do what you can to protect yourself, your family, your friends, and your loved ones. And as I said, like everything else, this will pass. It will pass, just like I keep saying path. There's a reason why I keep not mistakenly saying path, because it's coming to me clear from the spirits and the demons. This is just another path we must travel to get to where we got to go. So I'm saying path for a reason. I said it 3 times and couldn't stop my fucking self from saying it. That's a whole nother story. All right. So do your best. Do your due diligence. I appreciate everybody tuning in. I might have a little more free time, maybe to do a couple extra lives here and there. I don't know. So you might see me pop on a little bit more because I have a little more downtime. Maybe I'll come up with some interesting topics. Other than that, appreciate everybody tuning in. We will talk soon. Infernal blessings to all.